first time in Aspen. I've been out there fitting in, and did a little dog sledding today, and that's what I like. I like to be in the woods. I live in Tennessee. I spend a lot of time in the woods. Lately, I've been picking up a lot of ticks, though. I go out there, I get ticks in weird places. I got a tick on the body part that rhymes with tick. And now I cut that short, but I love the show. It was wonderful. It's so nice. I got to do comedy with Taylor Tomlinson and Adam Ray, both great comics. The show was a lot of fun. The theater was amazing, and then so I went. After that, I went to bed, and the next day I did a little walking tour of downtown Aspen, just a small one, and then I got to go back inside the Wheeler Opera House and show that theater.
Find our show to make sure it's going live. You know what I mean? I gotta find it, so I gotta have the URL.
On Thursday. Friday, I'm at the Wheeler Opera House. Saturday, I have another show. Now, this show is going to be at a Limelight Hotel, like we're staying in. We're staying in a Limelight. This will be a Limelight Hotel in Snowmass, which is another town just right outside of Aspen. Now, the reason that I'm showing the clips of this show is not because the show went so well. It's because this was such a special type of show. This was the bonus show, right? Wheeler Opera House, that's the big show. That's why we're there.
They have to switch it to.
But this was a bonus show. So we go to the Limelight, and it's such a really nice hotel. You'll see it as I walk through. But the reason that I want to show the show.
I can't find our channel. We're streaming right now, but I don't know how to direct anybody to our stream. This one. So I'll take that link. Over here to Wix and close that out. Just edit this. Click on that. And it takes it to backwards. Go ahead and link the picture too. I'll link the picture so if they click on the picture it'll go there as well. And I'm just going to disable this link for now. Disable link here. Schedule. So you may mess with my shifty valves. You disable the link to my shifty valve. Ah, no. Just leave the link to my shifty valves. That'd be good. Alright, ready? Hitting it. 7:15. Activate the link. Activate the website.
Fauci's first pitch.
There you see it. Oh,
that's rough. That's rough.
Did you see this? There's like a picture circulating of him. He has his mask pulled down over his chin, and he's sitting right next to two other people.
Oh no!
He's like, yeah, like giving him hell.
Western Criminalization.
What's the rules on music on YouTube videos?
I don't know.
Are we allowed to have music on there? Are they gonna pull us down if we have music on there?
We're not important enough.
No.
If we were important enough, probably.
Yeah. Oh shucks. Oh shucks.
Easy now.
Oh shucks.
Easy now. Barely started drinking here.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Mine's pretty hot. Am I top?
Fuck music for a second.
No, mine's pretty hot. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check, mic check.
Mic check, mic check. Alright.
Mic check.
1 2 1 2.
Yeah, yours is hot.
Breaker breaker.
Do I have the right
What if I'm up here like no, it's still hot. Breaker breaker 1 9. Mic check, mic check.
Hang on 1 second. I'm the top one.
Mic check.
We're both pretty sensitive. I don't know.
So yours is really hot then, because it's picking up
Yeah.
on mine big time.
Log volume, copy filters. Filters. Ooh, I don't even know what this means.
Is there a skinny filter?
Expander. Noise gate, noise suppressor.
Mm.
Should we try one of those or should we just go with it?
Yeah, I just go with it.
Pull it up on your cellular telephone. Where's my cellular telephone?
Alright, how about I just pull it up on here?
Let me do this. Well, you don't have the link. You have the link, dumbass.
It's under a 5-minute vent, right?
No, it's on the acronym one.
Mm.
Acronym YouTube.
Well, how am I supposed to get to... Are you going to have comments going on that?
No. As soon as I post it, there you can get to it now. Can you get your text on your computer?
Mm-mm.
As soon as I hit publish in 15 minutes, you can go to Acronym. You get you can get the link on it from acronym.com. Are you gonna have comments going on that? No. As soon as I post it, there you can get to it now. Can you get your text on your computer? It sounds pretty good, though, right?
It's not bad.
Supposed to get to
It's not bad.
Are you gonna have comments going on that? No. As soon as I post it, there you can get to it now. Can you get your text on your computer?
That's not bad.
What?
What?
As soon as I hit publish in 15 minutes, you can go to Acronym. You get you can get the link on it from acronym.com. Are you gonna have comments going on that? No. As soon as I post it.
Oh, infinite echo time. Infinite echo time.
It's not bad. Are you gonna have comments going on that? No. As soon as I post it, there you can get to it now. Can you get your text on your computer? That's not bad. What? As soon as I hit publish.
It's scary. It's delicious. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It tastes more like a stout. It's an imperial IPA.
Yeah.
Like to me, it tastes like a whiskey, like, or a bourbon barrel aged stout. Gotta pick up on that way now. Infinite echo.
Mic 1 is hot.
4,
Mic 2 is hot.
3,
And
2,
the website is
1.
published. People looking at it though are going to have to refresh their browser. So you go to the website now and you click. It comes to us. Alright. You get the. Just do acronym.com. I don't have my search engine optimization where it needs to be.
But where do I get to the chat?
You just watch it on YouTube. It should be underneath there. Yeah, scroll down a skosh. Oh yeah, right there on the right. So say something. There you go.
Alright. I'll be back.
We're live. Where are you going? We just went live.
That's fine. You
We
got
just
it.
went live.
You're good. You're in charge.
I checked off. Is that picture didn't look as good as this picture that I'm looking at. A lot more fleshed out.
Well,
I'm gonna go warmer with the lights.
am I much cheaper?
I'm gonna go warmer with the lights. Do we have sound? Well, I'm gonna go warmer with the. All right, we have sound. Oh gosh, no. Oh gosh, what did I do? Whoa. Hey, whoever's watching, Caleb will be back momentarily. I'm playing with the lighting, don't mind me. Up to three viewers. We're going to get started here in about 7 minutes. Again, don't mind the lighting, I think I have it where I want it. It still looks awful bright. That's okay, we're just going to have bright light.
Who are you talking to?
Our 6 viewers.
Oh, wow.
That we're already up to. So I'm Dr. Haywood, joined by Dr. Caleb Harrow. Oh, cool. We got a OU comment. What's up, Haley? I believe Haley is from OU. Ohio University down south of us.
How's it going, guys? Are you mic'd up?
I'm mic'd
Mic
up.
there?
You're mic'd up.
Alright.
We're all mic'd up. No shots. I'm not mic'd up.
See?
I'm mic'd up now. I'm mic'd up. I tried to adjust the lights and they went haywire for a minute, so we might be a little bit brighter than we intended.
You're not gonna make us look good. So
There's got to be a lighting mixture.
he's tried for like 3 days.
There's got to be a lighting mixture. They can make this go
There's not.
away and this slim down, and I don't know, maybe.
There's a reason we're in scrubs right now. We're not at work. It's just this
in
is
pajamas.
what people that love us tell us we look the best in.
Yes.
So
We're told it's very forgiving. That set is legendary. I know, right?
we spent a lot of money on it.
A lot of money. We are doctors.
Oh, I'm not in the. I gotta get in the shot here.
Shot. You can look at that shot. That's live.
That's live.
That's like
All right.
15-second delay. Another 5 minutes. Matthew Steiner. Hey, what's up, Matthew? Where are you from, Matthew? You can let us know what medical student. There's like a 15-20 second delay, so I'm going to ask him that.
For profanity. We had to build it that way.
But anyway, so there's going to be a 15-second delay before he hears that. And then he's going to reply, and there's going to be like a 15-20 second delay.
That's
before
fine.
We acknowledge his reply.
We've got all night.
We got all night. We got all night. 11 viewers. Yes. Everybody that's watching, we're going to, kind of the format is we're just going to talk about things that we have seen in students that have caused them to get very strong SLOEs, that have helped them match to the residency of their dreams, and students that have gotten SLOEs that have put them into family medicine.
I'm glad we can edit that out.
No, I love my family medicine docs. I really do. Put them into a
not EM
specialty that they
everything is
second choice.
Yeah.
Their second choice specialty.
EM's always your first choice.
Oh God, EM is always your first choice. Absolutely. Hey, Matthew's at Neomed. Awesome, Matthew. God, that was a long delay. That was a really long delay. Anybody else that's watching, medical students especially, rising fourth years, let us know where you're from, and who you are.
Let us know what you're drinking too, because we're new to the area. I'm new to the area. Well, you're not new to the area. I'm new.
Newish.
I'm sleeping in this guy's basement.
He is.
This is actually my bedroom that we're in right now.
He
That's
is.
why it's decorated.
I put up the nice cardboard for him. Yeah. There's actually a hole in the wall there, so that's why we put the cardboard up.
Well, we got 3 minutes. 3 minutes to live.
3 minutes to live.
Also, while we have some time, guys, just drop in the comments anything that you want us to talk about. You can steer this. So if there's certain questions, burning questions you came with, please let us know, and we'll do our best to answer those questions.
Yes. And I know a lot of the Neomed kids will be rotating with us. Some of the OU kids will be rotating with us. This year, Cord has put pretty strict, all the EM professional organizations have put pretty strict limits on travel, and they put pretty strong recommendations about where you rotate, how many SLOEs you get. So there are limited opportunities for rotations. So if you're only getting one shot, you got to get a strong SLOE. And so we're going to help you get that strong SLOE.
That's right. This is the guy writing the SLOEs.
So we have a group SLOE, but really I'm writing the SLOEs.
This is the guy.
The SLOEs.
We're not going to lie to you. This is the guy writing the SLOEs.
I write the first draft. But on your SLOE from Neomed, you will have Dr. Seberg's name on it, who is former president of ASEP. He's also our department chair. Dr. Beeson reviews all the SLOEs as well, so his name goes on it as one of the authors. He is the former president of CORD, Council of Residency Directors in Emergency Medicine, and he's the current president of the American Board of Emergency Medicine, which is our licensing group. So he's well known within the EM community. In addition, Dr. Nicholas
Drulis.
Nick Drulis.
You've tried. He's been here 2 years. He can't pronounce the guy's name. Past president of ASEP.
Past president of ASEP.
Nick Drulis.
Drulis. Sorry, Nick, if you're watching. But anyway, he's our vice chair of faculty development, and he reviews all the SLOEs and offers feedback. I write the first draft, and those guys kind of edit as they see fit. And they read all the SLOEs because they're well known in the EM community. And if you go interview at Denver,
anywhere,
if you interview at Denver and they see your application and they see Nick's name on it, they're going to call Dr. Drulis, and they're going to say, "Hey, tell me about, Joe Schmo or Jane Schmo." And he wants to know, his name's on that, so he wants to know. So he reads all the SLOEs and offers feedback. So while I'm the primary author of your SLOE from RED, all those guys' names are on it. All those guys review them, and especially if you do well, they will know about you. And if anybody asks them for feedback, they'll give it. Who else we got watching, Caleb?
We've got Shannon Dozier.
Hey, what's up, Shannon? He was in my MS3 virtual clerkship during COVID. We've talked some. He's going to rotate with us in November, and he's going to be a great EM doc.
Savannah Chavez.
Hey, what's up, Savannah?
Sounds like somebody that probably won't match.
I know, right? Ooh.
She's one of our current residents. Just
Savannah's a
rock star.
She rotated with us as a medical student last year. I want to say last October, and did a really, really great job. So we were thrilled to get her as one of our interns.
All right, guys, we just rolled into the 8 o'clock hour.
8 o'clock hour.
So
another OU kid. What's up, Nick? Abe, Neomid M2. What's up, Abe?
Nicholas, do we do that one? Lauren Wright.
Andy Hill. Did I hit Andy Hill? What's up, Andy? Up in Cleveland, so just up the road. So we are very limited on. I'm throw one throwback to everybody that's watching because they took the time to come watch us. We are very limited on the med student rotators that we can take. We were taking a few, but it's like there's people that have. You last year I could give a rotation to whoever I wanted to. This year I have to clear it with multiple people. So it's more difficult to get rotations in our ER. But if you're in Cleveland, I'll give you my email address at the end. Let me give you my email address now. Is that dangerous? I'm about to put it out on the internet right now.
Right now.
All right. Haywood S. I'm gonna do my Gmail. Steven. I'm gonna get a bunch of junk mail there, so if it gets blown up, no big deal. Steven with a V. T as in Thomas. Haywood at gmail.com. Actually, throw it in the comments.
All right.
Throw it in the comments. I'm gonna put my email address on here. If you want to just come tour our ER, if you want to just come out with.
I wasn't listening. One more time.
Steven T Haywood at Gmail. If you want to come to our ER, look at our ER, chat a little bit about our program, what we have to offer, shoot me an email. While I might not be able to get you a rotation, if you promise to wear your mask, and I will wear my mask, we walk around the ER, I'll show you the ER, and you can at least kind of see what we have. We can chat a little bit and go from there. So if you're interested in that, shoot me an email. We'll go from there. Howard University, awesome. Cool. So good diverse group.
All right. You want to redo introductions? Get started?
Let's redo introductions.
I'm Caleb Harrell. I'm a new faculty member here. So Steve and I actually went to medical school together. We went to residency together at the University of Tennessee. We split ways very briefly after that. He came here and helped get this program going, and then I went to the University of Florida to do a critical care fellowship. So I actually work in the ICU and the emergency department here. So I joined faculty July 1, and I'm excited to be here, and we're excited that you guys are with us. And it's a weird time, and programs are filling this out just like you guys are. So we hope that we can give you some information tonight that helps you guys really nail the away rotation that you do and match well.
Oh, you said that really well. You said really good. I can't talk that good. I'm Steve. Hey guys, I'm Steve Haywood. I'm the clerkship director here through Northeast Ohio at the SUMA campus. I organized the medical student rotations. Last year we took a lot of medical student away rotators, a lot of neomed rotators. This year we're obviously giving a lot more priority to our neomed rotators as we are their home rotation. And we're trying to assure that everybody has the opportunity to do at least one EM rotation. I digress. But we're doing this as kind of an opportunity to get to know other medical students, get them to let us know, get them to know us. And anyway, so I'm the clerkship director here. I've been here as core faculty for 2 years. I'm now working with the residents as well, building their didactics. We're doing some sim Monday. Jordan and Savannah, be prepared for sim on Monday. I'll see you Monday morning. In addition, I enjoy online education. So the lights, the setup here, I use for various things. Can I plug my websites?
Yeah.
Can I plug? Okay, I'm going to self-promote. Shameless self-promotion. For basic ventilator education, 5minutevent.com is a website I built in residency. I haven't done much with that. And now I'm a senior editor on Critical Care Now, which is a kind of a critical care education.
It's kind of a big deal.
It's kind of a big deal. Launch day, we had 5,000 hits, which, you know, for a FOMED site on their first day is a pretty big deal. Critical Care Now, and yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
And then the professional backdrop here is our Twitter handles, so feel free to follow us there.
Yeah.
All right.
Is Caitlin Bard one of our viewers? She just followed me on Twitter. Hey, Caitlin, you just followed me on Twitter. Awesome.
Nice. Before
Nice.
there's a delay, so I know you did that before I said it. So
Yeah,
well done.
exactly. So,
Ahead of the crowd.
Follow all three of us on Twitter.
So let's dive in.
We have a Quillen kid on there. Taylor. What's up, Taylor? 2 Quillen alumni. We got
That's
some-
right.
Yeah. So let's talk about how to succeed on your SLOE. You all want that top 10% SLOE. Most programs are very protective of who they put in that top 10%. It's actually hard to get in that top 10%. If you do a rotation that's not hard to get in that top 10%, that SLOE is actually going to be worthless to you. Because we have to disclose, and this year it's electronic, so it's automatically populated. If you get a top 10% SLOE and they look, and every year 50% of the rotators are in the top 10%, that's not helpful to you. So the top 10% is difficult to get.
It's almost like it's the top 10%.
Really, yeah. And you get, if we get 30 rotators a year, 3-4 students are going to get that top 10%. What you don't want is that bottom third. It's not hard to stay out of the bottom third. We're going to tell you, so just the basics, the big things. We've polled our faculty, I've polled some other SLOE riders, how to stay out of the bottom third. I'm going to pull my laptop up here, maybe. So, 1, show up on time. Show up on time. That takes no talent whatsoever. If you are late with an excuse, we are very understanding. If you're late multiple times, that's a big red flag, and that can likely push you in the bottom third. Be kind and respectful to everyone. Be kind and respectful to everyone. Nursing staff, respiratory therapists, environmental services, the coordinator. If you're not a kind person to anyone, EM, we're very much team-based. We work very closely with our nursing staff, with our therapists, with our unit clerks. So be kind to everyone. And then be honest. Integrity violations will always put you in the bottom third. If you have an obvious, blatant integrity violation, that's an automatic bottom third. And we'll talk about this a little bit more. Patients have historical alternans. You may tell us something the patient told you, and we go in there and they tell us something completely different. That's understandable.
They don't have physical alternans.
They don't have physical alternans, right? They're 3+ pitting edema that's actively weeping. Didn't just appear in the 5 minutes since you told me no edema whatsoever anywhere. So if you didn't check something on physical exam, say, I didn't check it. I'm sorry, I didn't look at their legs. I'm okay with that. That's a teaching moment. You're here to learn. If you say, nope, I looked at their legs, they look great, no edema, and I go in there and their legs are weeping, I know that you just took a shot. You just rolled the dice. So, oh God, I hope there's no edema. So it's okay to.
And you will lose.
Something. Yes.
Every time you'll lose that
Yes.
game. Don't do that.
Don't take a shot. Don't take a shot. I was talking about shots. I lost my train of thought. Just be honest. So, show up on time. Be kind and be honest. Most of my bottom thirds, one of those reasons, put them in the bottom third. It's that easy to stay out of the bottom third.
It sounds simple.
But
people mess it up all the time, right?
All the time. If you have an issue waking up on time, like you're on audition, and this year you're only going to do 1, maybe 2 auditions. If for a month you can't get up on time for your shifts, then I know during residency you're going to be chronically late. And if I can't go home until you show up, I don't want you working. I don't want to be working with you. Attendings that chronically show up late is very frustrating to me. That means I have to stay late, and when I stay late, I work for free. And I don't like working for free. Show up on time. If you really have an issue with this, hire a friend to come bang on your door and make sure you're awake for every shift. This is 1 month, 1 rotation. I kicked the camera. I'll make sure we're still good. Show up on time.
If you don't want to hire a friend, you can also set an alarm on a smartphone, or something like that. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing ideas.
So tell me about these alarms. You have alarms on these things now? Wow, I just make phone calls. And
I hope you guys are writing down these pearls that we're throwing here.
Apparently there's an alarm clock on here. Go figure. Be kind. If you have an abrasive personality, if you've had personality conflicts with multiple people in medical school, talk to somebody that you trust, that you're close with, and say, please be honest with me. Tell me what I say and do that upsets people. Tell me what I say and do that I have been told is not kind. Because really, I need my whole team functioning at a high level, and if my team is upset with you, and my team includes everyone, my nursing staff, my environmental services staff, my respiratory therapists, my EKG techs, everyone, my volunteers. If there's animosity there and you're going to create animosity, my team's not going to run as well. And then then honesty, integrity. You're going to be scared. When you're terrified to give the wrong answer. Just don't lie. Just be honest. It's as easy as that. That's going to keep you out of the bottom third. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else you want to add to those?
No. Why don't you? You've been at this a couple years. I haven't. So, how about we go through some stories?
Let's go through some stories.
De-identified.
De-identified.
To protect the guilty of of things that have gone wrong with this advice.
Yes. So orientation.
Oh, and just apparently somebody named Nick Drillis joined us online. Good luck matching, Nick. I hope you do well.
Oh goodness. Yeah, Nick. Good luck. Oh goodness, how long has he been on here? Anyway.
Now we're nervous.
Now we're nervous. Should I lie? Should I make up stuff now? Anyway, we didn't say anything weird. So let's say orientation day. At our site, they go to med-ed at 7 a.m. I can't change that. And so out of kindness to their convenience, I start their ER orientation at 7:30. Because as soon as they get done in med-ed, they can come to their ER orientation. I don't like to wake up that early, especially on my days off, but I do it out of the kindness of my heart. First student shows up at 7:30 and says, sorry, it was a crazy morning. I didn't make it to med-ed first. I just got here. I don't have a badge. I don't have anything. Okay, understandable first day. The same student shows up to her first shift an hour late. Oh, this was my first shift. I was confused about where to go. I'm so sorry. An hour late. First day of didactics. Same student, didactics started at 8, shows up at 9. I assume just had the time mixed up. Hey, student. Didactics actually started at 8. They started at 8 every Thursday, not 9. Yeah, I know. I just couldn't wake up. In the first week, 3 instances. Do you want to work with that person?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
So like you said earlier, when you're in the trenches together, right? So it's not really about like, is this somebody that I would hang out with all the time? Are we going to be best friends? That's not, I think, what people refer to when they say, are they a good match for the program? I think it's, do you fit the kids say vibe checks, right?
Vibe checks?
Yeah, vibe checks. They pass the vibe check.
That's what they say.
So somebody that, when it's 3 a.m. and 15 people happen to check in that hour, that you're comfortable sitting next to that person and you know they're going to be working just as hard as you are. And when you've worked hard all night and that person is coming in to relieve you, like you said earlier, they're going to be there promptly, take sign out, and you're going to get out and and you're going to return the favor when you come back and relieve them. So I think that for me, those are some of the biggest things, biggest red flags, is if this is really a month-long job interview for you guys. So if you have multiple things go wrong like that are things about promptness or basic professionalism, that's something you're not going to survive.
Yeah, I agree. And when you're relieving, as a resident, you can't leave until your relief gets there. And your co-residents are not going to like you if you're chronically late. And that's going to create animosity among my team. And you just can't have animosity among your team. So chronic tardiness is a no-go. I will mention, I didn't tell you this before, surprise. So I promised the residents if we reached 50 viewers.
Oh, do we have 50 viewers?
We don't. We're at 32
okay, all right.
now.
Whew.
But if we reach 50, then we will be wearing the Buzz and Jesse hats.
All right.
So I'll let you choose, too, because I love them both.
Jesse, all the way.
You get
it's
Jesse?
way cooler.
God,
yeah.
Dang. That's the one that Andy wore. He always had the Jesse hat with the ribbon taken off of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Because anyway, sorry. If you haven't seen Toy Story, sorry, I don't mean
4 kids.
4 kids and
4
Toy Story
3.5.
3.5. The 4th one will be here in September. Hopefully, wait till September. I want to have an OB birth. I don't want to have a home birth. We're going to do so week early. I don't want to have a home birth. I do not want to have an ER birth. But anyway, we do good work. Dr. Miller and I just birthed the baby in the ER a few weeks ago.
That's right.
Yeah. It went really
First
well.
shift, right? First
it was
resident
her
shift.
First shift. Not her. She's this is her 3rd year. She's a PGY 3, but first shift with us.
Yeah.
Delivered a baby. People are really excited about these Woody hats. So Woody and Jesse hats, Toy Story hats. One final thing, then we'll move on. If you go to my Twitter at haywoodvents.com, My pinned tweet is our Toy Story costume from this past year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I got the comments up on mine because your computer's about to die.
Oh, no.
That's okay. So arrive on time. Hey, Caleb. Have you ever left your scrubs in the dryer for a day?
I have.
What do they look like when you pull them out?
Kind of like a paper bag that's been in a trash can for 2 or 3 days.
That's exactly what they look like. I don't know what it is. Like, t-shirts don't wrinkle that bad. Nothing else wrinkles like scrubs wrinkle when you leave them in the dryer. We understand this. If you show up to a shift in wrinkled, watered up scrubs, I understand. I wear scrubs every day. What if someone shows up to shift every day with scrubs that look like a wrinkled up paper bag and a white coat that looks like a wrinkled up paper bag?
Yeah, it's not that. So, to me, this isn't the biggest thing, but it's still something that that gets noticed because you guys are all trying to match into a specialty that is the best specialty out there, and we all know it's the best specialty because we get to wear pajamas to work every single day. And I think the least that we can do is have presentable looking pajamas. Like you get to go to work in pajamas. So just if they're not wrinkled or not like insanely wrinkled, especially your white coat. If you're going to wear a white coat, then you want that thing looking nice because you don't want to walk.
Easy.
Yeah, a patient's always there on their worst day, and you want to have all the confidence, all of their confidence in you. And you walk in with a wrinkled up white coat, wrinkled up scrubs, looking like you just rolled out of bed. Not necessarily the person you want to tell why you're in the emergency department at 5 a.m. too.
Again, you're on a month-long job interview. I have worn a tie one time in the last 2 years. Once. I don't dress up. I rarely wear suits. I wear blazers without ties a lot if I have to look nice. Do you know what I wore for my job interview?
A blazer and Crocs.
Camouflage Crocs, right? But I had the heel strap flipped up, so it was okay.
Oh yeah,
I wore a
that's
suit.
classy.
I wore a suit. I wore a tie. I looked my best. I put my best foot forward. You're on a month-long job interview. Just don't look sloppy. Take your scrubs out of the dryer, fold them, make sure they look good. You are going to stand out in not a great way if you're the kid with the wrinkled white coat. And we get it. You're working hard. You're working a lot of hours. But just hang the white coat up when you get home every day. Honestly, on our rotation, I tell the students they don't have to wear a white coat because I don't wear my white coat, so I'm not going to expect you to. Occasionally, my scrubs get left in the dryer and they're wrinkled and wadded up, and I show up to work in wrinkled, wadded up scrubs. But I'm a little bit, embarrassed by it. And then I make sure I don't do that in the next shift. Just put your best foot forward with your appearance on shift. You don't have to overdo it. Just don't look like you tried. Does that make sense?
That's fair.
Is that fair? Okay. Comb your hair. Just don't look like you rolled out of bed and came into shift. Even though you're coming in pajamas, and you probably did just roll out of bed, run a toothbrush through your mouth. Run a comb through your hair. You don't have to have the perfect hard part. Is that what that's called?
It's kind of a soft hard part.
Yeah. You don't have to have a soft hard part. You can just run a razor over your head.
You can just give up and shave your head.
Just shave your head.
You
Yeah.
want,
Yeah. If you're balding, that's totally cool. We like bald people. Scrubs. If you prepare for your shift, so prepare the night before. Have your stuff laid out. If you need coffee to function, especially right now with COVID, it's more difficult to drink coffee constantly on shift. I know I try, and it's tough because we got masks, we got PPE, we got pappers, we got capers. Caffeinate before you get there. If you need caffeine to function, if coffee is life, caffeinate before you get there.
I will never give you a hard time if you need coffee on shift. I will be drinking coffee through the entire shift. I would just say if the masks are down, just kind of respect the social distancing, the 6 foot rule. So
Yes.
If my mask's down, I'm drinking coffee. Your mask is down. Probably not the time to do like a really close up, face to face sign out of the patient that you just saw.
Yes, I was giving sign out to a colleague today, and I had my mask down because I was drinking coffee at my desk in my little bubble, my little 6-foot bubble, and the consultant was a close talker. They came down they were like inches from my face, and I was back, and they didn't have a mask on, and I didn't have a mask on, so I put my mask on, but I was still like, you need a mask on too. So yeah, respect bubbles. Come prepared. If you need to drink your coffee, make sure you're in your 6-foot bubble. I drink coffee on shifts. Just come prepared for your shift. Does that sound good?
That sounds good. Guys, don't forget, hit us with questions.
Yes.
Yes. I get really tired of hearing him talk. So
what?
If you have questions,
What?
please let us know.
So arrive prepared on shift. Have a pen and a notebook, or some kind of note-taking capabilities. When we are going to talk, we like to teach on shift, right? You're there to learn. You're paying a lot of money to be there to learn. We want to teach you. We want you to be actively engaged in that teaching. So take notes. If we go see a patient, if you're my medical student, way smarter than me. Critical care, man. If we go see a patient with pneumonia, I ask you, hey, what do you know about pneumonia? What antibiotics should we use for pneumonia? What decision tools do we have to help us guide our disposition of pneumonia? And you don't know. And I say, great, let's talk about community choir, let's talk about hospital choir, let's talk about the port score, let's talk about curb 65. And then the next shift, I say, hey, what do you know about pneumonia? And you know nothing. What does that tell me?
Yeah. No, I think that's a great point. So, for me, when you guys are here on a ways, right, I know you're here to learn, and I'm here to teach. That's what I like to do. That's why I took this job. So I really don't care if you know. I think what we do is not what's classically called pimping, right? Pimping is no bueno. It's not. We're not putting you on the spot in front of people to make you feel bad, to try to make sure you remember it because of how bad you felt not knowing it in front of people. I'm just curious as to where your knowledge is and how I can best teach you. So I really don't care if you have the answers today, but if we spend 15 minutes going over pneumonia and scoring scores and disposition and antibiotics, and we talk the next day and none of that stuck, I do take that as a red flag, because
Yes.
I want to know that you're invested in learning, because that's what I'm looking for in a good resident, and that the next time we talk, you're like, oh, hey, Dr. Harrell, I went ahead and did a curb 65 on this patient, and it's this. I know that you took that message home, so I think that's a great point.
Yeah. It's we get tangential, but that's okay. We can get tangential. It's our show. We can do whatever we want.
They're still there. We actually picked up viewers.
36, 14 more, and then
The hats go on.
The hats go on. Yeah. So text your friends vigorously. Can you text?
Yeah.
Hey, sure. Yeah, text your friends. Text your friends, guys. I'm talking still. We look for opportunities for learning. People look for teaching moments a lot. That's the wrong answer. Just because it's a teaching moment and I can teach you all about pneumonia, if you already know all about pneumonia, I'm wasting your time and I'm wasting my time. So I say, hey, what decision rules do we have that can guide our disposition? You say, well, I know there's the curb 65. It's pretty simple. There's only 5 things. I also know there's this port score that's a little bit more complicated. I don't know all the aspects of it, but I know it's a little bit better than curb 65. Great. Well, let's pull it up. Let's look at it. There's your learning opportunity. We can look at the aspects of that. If you say, I don't know, then I can start from the beginning. So it's not me pimping you. I'm probably going to ask you questions until I find something that you don't know, because I'm looking for a learning opportunity. We like to hear ourselves talk. Obviously, we're broadcasting ourselves over the internet. But on shift, there's no point in me teaching something you already know. So when I ask a lot of questions, I'm looking for a learning opportunity. And then when I teach you something, be prepared to take some notes so you can go read on that later. If you have downtime on shift, you can read on that. You can take notes on your phone. I would make a little comment like, hey, I've got a Google Doc opened up. Let me write that down so I can read about it later. Because we'll talk about it in a second. A student is glued to their phone the whole shift, and when you're glued to your phone, even if you're listening to me taking notes, to many, especially older physicians, they may see that as you're not paying attention to me and you're distracted by the face
TikTok.
chat, the TikTok.
You're on TikTok.
We are actually on TikTok. That's the next big educational social media app. So I've been told. I don't know that I'll buy it. Come prepared. Have something to write with. Have some kind of reference manual. So if you go see a patient and you've got a few minutes, and typically I'll ask a student. They go see a patient. Hey, are you ready to talk about it, or you need a minute? Can I have just a minute? Great. Have some kind of reference where, oh God, I think they have pneumonia. Where can I read about pneumonia in the ER real quick? Up to date's an easy one. If you have a specific question, it's on all the desktops at most computers. You can just log on and search for stuff. It's not always the most up to date, but it gives you a rough framework of where to start your workups. I used Tintinelli's manual when I was a medical student. It's not a great resource. Kind of difficult to use, but if you're a book person, it's a good book that you can carry around with you. So a lot of shops are using SAEM's Emergency Medicine Exam. That is based off the CDEM curriculum, off the CDEM website. So that's a great resource. It has a basic review of a lot of chief complaints you'll see, the most common chief complaints you'll see in the ER. You can get to that if you went to our website to get to this web show on Akron EM. You just click on the medical student section, and I have links to the CDEM curriculum. Frameworks from Foundations of Emergency Medicine is a great way. It gives you like an algorithm of how to work through different chief complaints. Full disclosure, one of our other attendings, Quentin Reuter, don't ignore the questions. All right, we're going to look at the questions in just a second.
I'm sorry, my phone died.
He's an editor on that website, and I'm a contributor on that website. So let's go. Let's do some questions. You want to do some questions, Caleb?
Let's do it.
Have some resources. 5-minute event, and
what do we have? Read some questions.
All right, let's do some questions. Daniel is with me with the baldness. Way to go, Daniel. Pull my computer up here. Haley, thanks for hanging on this. I'm the world's worst jumping in during sim and asking. Instead of looking eager to learn, I may present myself as being inexperienced. I like people to jump in. I like people that take shots. I like people they're willing to put themselves out there. The only time that becomes a detriment to you is if you're interfering with other students' learning opportunities. So if you're always the one to jump in to do the procedure and you're not deferring to other students and allowing them opportunities to learn, that to me is an indication. It can be an indication of, I'm only about me. But that being said, I like the student who's not afraid to jump in. I like the student that's out there when nobody else volunteers themselves. The only caution I would give you is make sure you're just not interfering with other students' learning opportunities. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. And yes, you are inexperienced. You're a rising fourth-year medical student. I expect you to be inexperienced. So the fact that you're willing to jump in and learn is, I like that. I used to be a proponent of fake it till you make it. That's the wrong answer. Don't fake it till you make it. You know what the right answer is?
What's the right answer?
Thanks. That's good. Face it until you make it. So when you don't know something, face it. I am so sorry, Dr. Harrell. I don't know. Actually, don't apologize. I don't know any decision rules to help me disposition pneumonia. Can you please teach me? Instead of faking it till you make it, I do. Let me go check on the patient real quick, and then we'll talk about decision rules. Don't fake it till you make it, and pretend like you know what you don't. Face it till you make it. And when you do that, we will take the time to teach you, and we will get you there. We expect you to be inexperienced right now. If you face it till you make it, you will truly make it. If you fake it till you make it, then you're a very scary physician, because I don't know when you're faking it and when you actually know something. And so I know that I have to watch you really stinking close. Do you agree?
No, absolutely. And that's I think that's good advice through residency too, is run to the patients that scare you. So you can get through residency seeing the things that are in your wheelhouse and graduate, and your first day out there in the real world as an attending is going to be a scary day, because you can't ignore those cases that you've waited for somebody else to pick up before. In residency, we switched computer systems, and there was a time when we went to a paper charting system, which was pretty entertaining. But they so what they did is they put this big rack right up in front of the doc box, and the nurse would go triage the patient, and then boom, and you'd hear it cling. And we had one attending that never never did anything. I can say this now anonymously. Never did anything. Was always on their computer, and every once in a while he would just go, "Charts in the rack," and expect us to jump up and see all of these new patients that just came in. And it's amazing how certain complaints tended to sit in the rack a lot longer than other complaints did. And I've been guilty of that too. There's certain things you're like, oh man, that's not really what I'm great at or not what I enjoy, and you don't do it. But our job is to treat everybody that comes through those doors. And so residency is the time when you have that safety net of an attending to run your plan past and learn from. And if you ignore that all through your training, that first day out there is going to be a really, really rough day. You're going to do a lot of learning, but I think it's better to learn in residency than to wait to learn your first day as an attending.
Still as an attending, though, I call consultants when I don't have a question, when I don't know something and I just need help. And I say, hey, listen, I'm struggling with this. Can you help me out? And you learn your entire career. Face it till you make it. Don't run away from things that you don't know. Face them down. And don't fake it. When you don't know it, do not fake it. Pretend like you know it. I'm very guilty of constantly projecting confidence, whether I have it or not. Isn't there a quote that's like, sometimes wrong, never in doubt? Oh, don't be that guy. And I'm guilty of that sometimes. So face it till you make it. Daniel asked if carrying a small iPad is permissible to take notes with. Yes, absolutely. And actually, I think that's probably better than a cell phone because when you have there's a large part of our generation who live their lives glued to a cell phone, and you don't want to be lumped into that group that just is glued to social media or things of that nature. So, and I think an iPad is probably better than a cell phone because it's a bigger, clunkier device that you don't always have out. And as we're talking, even if you have a stylus you're writing with, or if you're just typing on that, I'd say that I carried an iPad mini as a medical student. It wasn't that long ago. We had iPad minis then still.
That's true.
Yeah, true story. Actually, it was when they first came out. It was, I think, our third year medical. And
brand new.
It was so
amazing.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I had bought the special white coat that would fit a full-size iPad. And then this iPad mini comes out. And I'm like, I don't need this giant pocket in my white coat. I digress. Yeah, Daniel, I like an iPad. That's a good option. So we've addressed the questions, I think, adequately.
All right.
Especially
keep them coming.
EM and clinical detection. Yes, apps are fantastic. We'll try to put a post up on our website, Akron EM, about different apps that you can use.
We'll touch base on those later as well.
Yeah. Where's Safari at? Do you see Safari? Is that Safari? Yeah, that's Safari. All right, so
where are we?
Let's say that you need an interview at a residency. You really want to interview at this residency because your couple's matching and it's going to be harder for you to match. And so you call the coordinator and you say, hey, my significant other is going into pediatrics at your hospital and they love her. They are going to rank her in a match. They have told her that she is their favorite and I don't want to hold her back. And so I really want an interview with y'all. Is there any way y'all can give me an interview? If that's not true, is that a good idea?
You had me sold, but that sounds like a terrible idea if that's not true. I'm going to guess that that's not true.
It's not. It wasn't true. Not only was it not true, but the significant other had called the pediatrics department and said, my significant other is doing emergency medicine, and they love him, and they're told
this is a true story. I assume
this is a true story.
This stuff happens.
That they are ranking him to match, and I don't want to hold him back because the coordinators talk, especially if it's the same hospital. They are friends, and they talk.
You can guarantee that they're going to talk to coordinators in the same hospital. I can almost guarantee you, EM, even though we're growing and there's lots of new programs every year, we're still a very small, close-knit community.
Yes.
Coordinators talk. They have a little network. They have like their own like Reddit.
Their own server.
They have their own little Reddit, and they talk to each other about you guys. I promise. So if you do some weird shit or you lie to them, that is going to go around that server.
We weren't going to cuss.
Don't do. That's why there's a 30-second delay.
Okay.
They won't hear it.
Beep. I don't know. That's yeah. Sorry. Yes, our coordinator is our life too. Like Samantha, who our coordinator is, she takes care of so much stuff for us. She makes our lives so much easier. We do not want Samantha angry. And if there is a resident or a student who is upsetting her, she's going to let us know about it. And so, yeah, you don't upset the coordinator, first of all. And then, second of all, don't lie. An integrity violation on rotation will likely get you a bad SLOE from me. An integrity violation like that got that couple blasted on the coordinator's server.
Probably DNR'd in both specialties.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean that's a huge thing because
huge
program directors absolutely listen to program coordinators. If they find a red flag, you're done.
Honesty. Be honest. Honest. And I tell my students the first day, integrity violations is the one way to guarantee yourself a bottom third SLOE and could lead to a DNR SLOE. So don't have integrity violations. I don't have a story for being kind and respectful. I try to throw some stories in here. Be kind and respectful to everybody. Are you gonna pull the YouTube up there?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pull it back up.
Because I'm flipping back and forth. I may be missing some comments. Keep the comments coming. Keep the questions. Be kind and respectful to everybody. Again, if you have an abrasive personality, first of all, I do some curriculum on emotional intelligence. I lectured at Cord this year on emotional intelligence. The first step is self-awareness of your emotional expression and how it affects others. If you are not self-aware of how your emotional expression affects others, if you think that everyone doesn't like you, you got muted. Okay, cool. Then you probably need some self-reflection there. Talk to your friends, talk to people that are close to you, and try to figure out simple things you can do. A couple of things that I do is it is very difficult, but I learn people's first names. That is the most important word in anyone's language is their first name. So I try to learn my nurse's first name, and I say, "Hey Tiffany, can you help me in this room?" When I'm in a code, it helps with your closed loop communications if you're naming people and you had give them tasks. Tiffany, can you get them on the monitor, please? Close to you. Wendy, can you be pushing drugs for us? Thank you, Wendy. Sam, can you be at the head of the bed and ready to assist with airway if needed? So anyway, be kind, be respectful. That's, again, we do an entire curriculum throughout our EM rotation on emotional intelligence and how to interact well with others. If you notice that you might be abrasive to some, talk to some of your close friends and get them to be real honest about you, about things you do that might come off as abrasive. And that's enough about that. So one of my favorite medical students of all time, I had my best shift ever. She was at the level of an intern. She was on track to get a top 10% SLOE. Came from a good medical school, had really good board scores, had really good grades. She showed up 15 minutes late to the shift with me, but that was okay. I told her, "Hey, listen," and I talked to her because she'd done so well. I was like, "Listen, I get it. We're all late on occasion, but you were set up to do great. Show up on time. That's something they can thank you." We met about her at the end of the rotation. I only had one shift with her. It was the best shift I ever had with a medical student. Multiple attendings commented on her affinity for the online web-based game Pokemon Go and her use of Pokemon Go on shift.
Are we dating ourselves? How many years ago was Pokemon Go?
It's been a few years.
4?
There's still
3?
Pokemon Go. Somebody plays Pokemon Go.
I don't know. Nobody plays
Does anybody
Pokemon
play
Go
Pokemon
anymore.
Go? I'm going to click over to this.
Nope. I'm going to wager nobody
somebody plays Pokemon Go.
plays it anymore.
Does anybody play Pokemon Go? Somebody plays Pokemon Go. But anyway, she got a DNR letter. Because I say that Pokemon Go is a big part of it. You're supposed to be engaged on shifts. And that's part of why I say when you're on your cell phone, just make it obvious that you're reading about something, and don't be on Pokemon Go and think that we think that you're reading about something while you're or whatever app you're on. If you're on TikTok or whatever non-medical app, we get it. We try not to have downtime for our students on our rotation. We try to engage you, and if we do not engage in you, we have tasks for you to do. But if you have downtime and you're bored,
it's a job interview.
It's a job interview. Power through it. Stay off of the silly apps that I have the silly apps on my phone. Occasionally on shift, you might see me on a silly app.
So it's you play Pokemon Go.
I did when it came out. I don't have it anymore. But I've got professional Twitter accounts, Instagram accounts. I'm checking those on shift and retweeting stuff and trying to sound important. So occasionally I'm on social media on my phone on shift. Even if I'm on social media, you are on a job interview. I would discourage that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. We got some more questions. Before we move on, let's address the questions. Jordan, what resources and Q banks do you suggest for medical students? Actually, we've got questions before that. Oh, goodness, we got all kinds of questions. Daniel said, thank you. Savannah, what impressive behaviors from rotating medical students stick out to you? That's a good one. Because there are things that happen, and I'm like, that's going in there slow. If a nurse comes up and comments on how much they like you,
Oh, that's a good one.
that's a good one, because I know you're going to make my team better. If they comment, hey, do you know that she's getting blankets for patients and she helped me ambulate that patient? I'm thinking of a specific medical student that did this, that I heard this frequently. That's why I'm saying she. Do you know that she got that patient water when we were doing the PO challenge? She went and did the PO challenge for that patient. You do have downtime on every rotation. Helping out, being friendly, those are things that stick out to me that I'm like, that's going in your slow. That's absolutely going in your slow. There's medical knowledge things. People that really excel medical knowledge wise, occasionally I'll put that in their slow, but not if they're mean. Not if they, not if I don't like them. Not if I don't get along well with you. Not if you don't make my team work well better. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
I think the team member thing is a big one. I'll say the other side of that is, if you're doing those things, don't broadcast it. Don't
Yes.
do things to like for show, for us to be like, oh wow, look at that, they're carrying a blanket to that patient. If you're doing it, that's amazing, and I promise we'll hear about it because somebody will notice it. But don't do things for show, because that's going to hurt you. That's not going to help.
Yes, absolutely. And there's students that do that. Hey, I'm going to go do their PO challenge so we can see if they're discharged. Now, if you did their PO challenge, you can come back and say, hey, they passed their PO challenge. I was in there. They drank some water and ate some crackers, did really well. But it's obvious when you're trying to make me aware that you did something above and beyond, and it comes off as obnoxious. So just, help out however you can on the team.
What else you got?
How much do exit exams, SAM, MBME exams weigh on reviewing an applicant? Do you take exit exams into account when evaluating an honors versus a high pass?
That's a good question for you.
It's a very good question. I hate exams. I don't care about the exam. If I want to know how smart you are, I have board scores. I have all your shelf exams. If you did well in all your shelves, you do well on all your board scores, I know you can study hard and I know you can pass a test. The SAEM exam, I have taken it. Actually, it has been revamped. I have not taken the new version, but I took an old version, and there were some questions that were silly, that were not pertinent to emergency medicine. I didn't make 100 on it. I missed a few questions, but they were silly questions.
You missed a lot of questions.
It was in the 90s, but anyway. So that being said, if you have weak board scores and maybe your shelf exams have not been great, and you do really well on the SAM exam, which is what we give, and some people still give the shelf exam for emergency medicine, it's one way of showing that, hey, I've found my passion and I've buckled down and I've studied about this and I can pass a test. Because we care about your ability to pass a test. You all have to take board exams, and if you fail your board exams after residency, it reflects poorly on you, on us as a residency program. So I would say, it's just unfortunately, in the way medicine is set up, you're judged on your ability to pass a standardized exam, and we're judged on our ability to prepare you to pass a standardized exam. I make your grade before I look at the SAM exam scores. And if you've done great and you've gotten great feedback, and I think you're going to make a great ER doctor, and you've met my other requirements for honors, I'm going to give you an honors grade, even if you do awful on that exam. But it's just one more. It's just one more point of data in your long-term ability. And if you've done great on your board, you've done great on all other shelf exams, and you happen to make a bad score on this exam, I know that I can make sure you buckle down and pass your boards once you finish. Does that make sense? I hope I answered your question.
So if I'm hearing you,
Yeah.
you're saying the exam can help mediocre,
Yes.
but it can't tank stellar.
Can't tank stellar. I have given top 10% to people who were below average on the SAM exam. Because what I care about, and that's what your SLOE should be, it shouldn't be another measure of your ability to pass a standardized test. There's more than enough standardized tests in medical school. We don't need another one. The SLOE should be your ability to function clinically, work within a team, if I want to work with you for 3 years or not. So it's another opportunity, especially if you've had not great board scores, if you've had not great shelf exams, to show me that, hey, I can buckle down and take a standardized test if I need to. Does that make sense? That makes sense for you?
To me,
Cool.
perfect, crystal clear.
Leanne, I hope that makes sense to you. If not, feel free to comment again. Jordan, what resources and Q banks do you suggest for medical students? Obviously, criticalcarenow.com and 5minutevent.com, and following Haywood Vents at Twitter. I'm being silly.
I would say all the free stuff. I don't want you to spend a penny. Like, I know we've been there. I know what you guys spend, right? Like, so your housing is not necessarily guaranteed depending on where you're going. You're going to spend a lot in gas money or on flights. So I absolutely do not expect you to spend a dime on any sort of resource as a student rotating with me. So I will give you all the free things out there, and there's thankfully tons of amazing free resources. So stick to those, but please don't buy. There's great resources in residency, but most of your programs are going to buy those things for you. Don't get them as a medical student. You're not taking an in-training exam as a medical student. Don't waste your money. You're paying like, what, 5, 6, I don't know what the interest rate is now. It's better than it was for us probably, but it's still an interest rate. Don't pay something and then pay interest on a question bank or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah. If you're going to buy something, I would encourage you to join EMRA, Emergency Medicine Residency Association. It's like $100 a year, which is still not a negligible amount of money for a medical student. But with your EMRA subscription, you get EMRAP for free. EMRAP's monthly show is, you don't need to listen to it. You can. I take questions from that sometimes. You can, but what I would encourage you to do is go to their core clinical content or their C3 project, which just does a good basic review of different chief complaints. So if we talk about chest pain one day and you've got a day off, pull up the C3 project on chest pain and listen to that, take notes. It'll be a good review of your basic chief
They
complaints.
launched the online textbook too.
Did they really?
Yeah,
Alright.
so it's still, I think it's still in beta version, but if you guys have MRAP, then you just log on to that. I don't know the name, but you look at it, it's their textbook link, and then you type literally anything in there, and they'll give you their text part, but then also any podcast they've done, so journal articles, parts of the C3, parts of the MRAP, parts of EMA, all that will link to anything you search in that. So that's probably the best resource out there if you're going to spend money. I don't think there's anything that can come anywhere close to what MRAP puts out there.
Yeah, so FOAMED is the big guy everybody gets excited about, which is free online access to medicine. MRAP is not technically FOAMED because it's a paid subscription, but because it's a paid subscription, they have the resources to make it really good. And I still pay, for me as an attending, it's like $500 a year now for me to have MRAP. So it's a quality product. As a medical student resident, you can get it for $100 a year. So I'd encourage you to take advantage of that.
Corpengium, thank you. Yes, that's what it's called.
There you go, Corpengium. Thanks, Savannah. I use MRAP a lot. EM Basic is what I listen to as a medical student. It's a good podcast that is free. Steve Carell, I don't think he's in San Antonio anymore. Do you know where Steve's at now?
I have no, I
I think
don't.
he's in Texas still, but I don't think he's in San Antonio anymore. It's just a review. It's designed for medical students.
Is that his name
Steve Carell?
from The Office? Ian Basic? Is that his name?
Basic, Steve. Ian Basic. I'm going to find out his name for you, okay? I think it's, hang on a second. Steve. He just signs his post as Steve.
Maybe it's Carell. That's amazing.
really
I never
think
knew
it
it was. I
is.
never knew it was Steve
I think
Carell.
it is. I don't know. Connect with this. I'm gonna find out what we learn. EM Basic, regardless of what the guy's name is. Again, you can find a link for that on the Akron EM website. If you go to the medical student section, I have a link to EM Basic. He's got podcasts that you can listen to that cover the basic stuff that's completely free. He also has PDF reviews of his podcasts, so that if you're reading on shift, that's something you can refer to. Let me go to his Twitter. His Twitter will have his actual name. Carroll, yeah.
Carroll, okay.
Stephen Carroll.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Carroll, yeah. Carell, it's not Carell, it's Carroll.
It's close enough. It's close enough.
Steve Carroll. I love The Office, actually.
All right, what else we got?
Should we put The Office on over here?
Question-wise.
That is his name. Yes, Daniel. See, Dan's got my back. IMRA app, the mobile IMRA app. Yeah, and IMRA's got their antibiotic guide. They got the Presidex. IMRA antibiotic guide is money. Join IMRA, you can get the antibiotic guide. It'll help you in choosing your antibiotics. So I agree, Dan. IMRA is a great resource. Caitlin Bard, if we truly want to be considered at a program, and it is one of our top programs, but haven't got an interview offer, how do you go about asking that program for one, or should we not reach out? Yes, you should reach out, but just be respectful. I email the coordinator or call the coordinator, express your interest. So here's the issue. So apparently back in the day, before our day, people would apply to 10 programs, right? And those are the 10 programs they wanted to go to. And it was easy. If you applied to my program, you wanted to come do residency in my program, and I would send you an interview offer. When we went through, I applied to 30 programs. And there was about 10 to 15 that I really wanted to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had some safety schools. There was a program that I really wanted to go to that I didn't get an interview at. And there was one of my safety schools that I got an interview at that I didn't care about. And I met a guy on the interview trail that got an interview at the school I really cared about and did get an interview at the school he really cared about that I got an interview at that I didn't care about. Does it make sense? So it's got, and now students are applying to like 50 and 60 programs. It's gotten ridiculous. And so now at my program, I'm getting a ridiculous number of applications. I don't know who applied to my program because they want to come to Akron, Ohio and train with these goofy guys, or who applied to my program because I was number 50 on their list of 50. And I don't want to interview that person, right? Because I'm going to be at the bottom of their list.
Yeah, wasting an
and I don't want to
interview.
waste an interview on them.
Yep.
So I want to know the people that are really interested in my program. So yeah, I would reach out. I would send an email to the coordinator or even call the coordinator. Hey, my name's Caitlin. I'm a medical student. I think was Caitlin Neomed. I think Caitlin was Neomed. I'm a medical student at Neomed, but I have family in Arizona, and I really am wanting to move back to Arizona. I sent y'all my application. I really want to be there. I just want to make sure you had my application, have everything you need, and if you have any questions for me, I'd be free to give you any more information you need to let them know I'm actually interested in your program. Now, coordinators talk. Do that to the programs you're really interested in. If you applied to 50 programs, do not do that to 50 programs, because they're going to be talking, and everyone's going to be talking about how this random guy at this random medical school has emailed every program and told them he is their number one. Only tell one program. If you're gonna even tell a program that they're your number one, that should not change your ranking. Don't tell more than one program that they're your number one.
That goes back to way early in the show. Don't lie. Don't lie to coordinators. So if you can get a coordinator in your corner, because they're the ones answering the phone when you're doing this, then I promise you they're going to talk to somebody. You may not get that interview. I did that with a few when I was interviewing. I got a couple of extra interviews that I was excited about. Some programs I tried, it didn't happen. But only try on the ones that are really, really important. Absolutely don't lie to people.
Do you know what HCOM is?
HCOM.
Is that Houston College of Medicine? Caitlin, I'm so sorry, I don't know what HCOM is. Is it Houston? It's not. Sorry, HCOM. I'm sorry, Caitlin. Can you please tell me what HCOM means? I'm so sorry. Oops. And also let me know if I answered your question, Caitlin. Shannon, what's up, Shannon? We need to chat. We'll set up a meeting. We'll talk about how you're going to come do residency with us and do great things. How much do you think step scores will weigh in when matching EM? They can be a filter. Just because, again, students are applying to 50 plus programs. That means we're getting a ton of applications. They can be used as a filter. That being said, I learned a lot during this interview system season that they were not the ultimate filter. We go through every application, as tedious and time consuming as it is, and I do click on board scores, and I would rather everyone have a 270. That'd be fantastic, because then I would know everyone would pass their boards easily. But I would rather have somebody with a below average board score that's going to get along well with my staff, that's going to make my team better, that I'm going to enjoy working with for 3 years. And I see your board scores. If they're not stellar, that's okay. We're going to work with you. We're going to do a lot of QBank. We're going to do a lot of practice tests. We're going to make sure that you pass boards.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a filter. We still have to think about that because you guys have to pass EM boards. And that's important for you and for our program. So we don't want to see you barely passing boards or failing boards, but the fact that you got a 260 versus a 230 for me doesn't carry much weight at all. I think it is just more of a filter tool to, kind of identify those people that are barely passing boards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there have been students that whether rotated with us or just stood out to us that we have ranked quite highly with not great board scores.
Yeah, that by no means DNRs you.
Right, absolutely. So, you can still match into emergency medicine regardless of your board scores. Maybe more challenging, but board scores are not the end all of emergency medicine. And likewise, I have DNR people with really good board scores. I don't know where we're at on our list of stuff we were going to talk about. But I'm going to get tangential. We're going to talk about something right now. We had an issue this past interview season with student rotators and people that interviewed with us that had really good board scores and came from prestigious universities and knew it and treated us like they were too good for us and just had that air of arrogance around them, especially if you're a medical student. If you were too good for my program, do not apply to my program and don't come waste an interview in my program. Because again, emergency medicine is a very small community, and if you say something offensive or condescending to somebody at our program, we have 2 ASEP presidents, ABM presidents. Everybody in emergency medicine knows everybody, and you're going to be working with us for the rest of your career. And in 3 years, you're going to be one of our colleagues, and you don't want to rub anybody the wrong way and have, just. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. Are words slipping out of my mouth? I think they are. My mouth's so moving.
It's working.
Even
it's
if
beautiful.
you have great board scores, you can't just stop and you can't just give up. And definitely don't be arrogant or condescending to anybody just because you had really good board scores.
That reminds me of another story.
So let's have another story.
So
I'm sit up straighter. I look better when I sit up straighter.
So tell me the story about somebody that came in that was very smart, had great board scores, was doing really well on a rotation, and got in a fight with an attending on a shift.
My gosh. Yes. Not just any attending.
Our APD.
One of our core faculties, APD. So if you are ever mistreated on shift, come talk to me immediately at our facility. We've had students that felt they were mistreated on shift, and I addressed it immediately, and I talked to them, and I talked to the attending. If you're ever mistreated, that's not acceptable. Come talk to me right away. We had a student who felt that an attending told him he needed to rearrange his presentation and took it very personally, and so restarted his presentation in a very sarcastic manner, talking about silly things. And I checked his toenails too, because the attending said they wanted a more detailed presentation.
Dentition.
I checked his dentition. Teeth 1 through 3 were normal. Teeth 4 had a carie. Teeth 5 through, like, an overly sarcastic. This student had a great rotation. He was going to get a top third SLOE from me. And that instance, and I called the attending and I talked to him. And honestly, this student was kind of militaristic in the way he was very regimented. Yes, sir. No, sir. And so I could see the student getting upset and feeling like he had the right at that point to become sarcastic and condescending to our assistant program director. Yeah.
So I think, if it's easy to fall into that, especially if, like, I mean, for us, when you're doing multiple ways, you kind of get the hang of it, and you start to have like a little bit of swag. You're like, I got this, I can do this. And late in that rotation, right? You've nailed 28 days, and you're on day 29 of 30, and you're crushing things, and you're working with an attending that you've never worked with before, and you come up and present like you've presented to me, and we've worked 5 shifts together, okay? And I'm like, oh, this girl, this guy, they know their stuff. Let's just, let's cut to the chase. Let's do the things. Get this patient dispoed. If you're working with a new attending that doesn't know you, and they say, whoa, hey, let's reset. You're a med student. I'm here to assess you. Let's go through this very regimented. Let's do a full H&P, very detailed. Please do not take that as an offense or an affront to you. And even if you do, go talk to Steve later, yes. Right? You have somebody there that is your clerkship director that's going to take care of you. So the worst thing you can do in that situation is to mirror that affront and then be sarcastic or abrasive back to the attending that is deciding your future. So do whatever they're asking you to do, and then if you felt like it was too much or over the top or was kind of weird and you have questions, come off shift to your clerkship director and say, hey, I had this interaction with an attending and it just kind of struck me weird and I want to run it past you, and I promise you it will be dealt with behind closed doors, but you don't want to leave any single shift as a bad reflection of you, because it's a month-long interview, and 29 great days is awesome, but one terrible day, I promise you, carries more weight than 29 great days. That's just how it works. So anytime something like that happens, go to your clerkship director, make sure that they understand your side of what happened, and try to get that reconciled, but don't do anything crazy, and don't fight.
Don't fight. Don't argue. Let me ask you a question. Student does 3 EM rotations. I won't apply to y'all because with the rules it's difficult to get rotations right now. Just 3 EM audition rotations. 1, 2, 3. Which one do they get the worst SLOE on?
Oh. Is this like a statistical thing?
Yeah.
3.
3. It's been shown. They presented a court every year.
We didn't practice that. I got it right.
They present a court every year. They have a ton of data because we do electronic chords, so it's or electronic SLOEs. So it's easy to compile this data, and we put in what rotation this is and where you rank. You do the worst on your 3rd rotation because it is exhausting doing a month-long interview, and it's difficult to put your best foot forward for 3 months. That's what Caleb was talking about. If you feel like you're a rock star, you've done this for 3 months. Hey, this is a viral URI. I just want to give them some Sudafed and send them home. If this is my first shift that I've worked with you, I'm not seeing you as someone who is on their 3rd audition rotation. I'm seeing you as someone who, this is my first shift I've worked with this medical student, and I'm going to expect a lot more from you than, hey, this URI. So audition rotations can be exhausting. If you're doing more than 1 audition rotation, I would encourage you, you're going to get tired. You're going to get tired of being treated like a medical student when you've done this for 3 months straight, 2 months straight. But just keep it up.
2 new questions.
2 new questions. What you got?
It's your computer.
My computer. You just read them. You just read them. All right, let's pull it up here. So where do we? I don't even know where we stopped.
Back here.
Let me make sure we got. So we did Shannon's question. Leanne said, "Thank you. Makes sense. Get that mobile IMRA app. We talked about that.
Right here.
HCOM. Okay. So Caitlin, hang on. I'm getting there. Is OU Heritage? So I didn't know OU was HCOM. I feel really bad now. We matched 2 OU students.
Okay, get to the question.
Juliana and Kevin, and they both did great. So we have the Cleveland campus. Great. As historically MD heavy programs, how do you value students who have only taken the COMLEX with no USMLE?
I'll answer this.
Okay.
I want you to pass boards. So
Yes.
if you did well, you did well. If you barely passed, you barely passed. I don't care who you paid all that money to take their silly little exam. I just want to know that you're going to pass boards for me. So I think it carries the exact same weight. I have no preference for what exam you suffered through.
I
Is that
agree.
fair?
You're being done. DO students are being done a disservice because there are programs out there that will not look at you unless you've taken USMLE. I learned my lesson on that because some of my best student rotators did not take USMLE Step 1. And they've done a great job. And they did really well on COMLEX. And so I know you can take a standardized test. So now my approach to it has changed drastically. I don't care. If you've taken COMLEX and you've done really well on it, I don't care. If you only took COMLEX and you barely passed COMLEX, well then yeah, it's going to get my attention a little bit. But you're being a disservice. There's some petitions out there to do away with COMLEX and make one unified exam because they are expensive exams and it is mentally exhausting studying for them. And from what I've heard, you have to study differently for the COMLEX than you do USMLE. And that's a lot of mental exhaustion. So there's some petitions out there to just make one unified exam for all medical students. And I think that would probably be a better answer because it would, there are programs that won't look at you if you haven't taken USMLE, but I have very much changed my opinion since I've seen some fantastic rotators who did not take USMLE, and I would love to have them as my residents. So if you only took COMLEX, yeah, still send me your application and come rotate with me. Shannon said thanks. Taylor, do you think the expectation of having audition rotations is going to change in the time of COVID? Absolutely, yes. So, if anything, if you have more audition rotations, you may be looked down upon because CORD, IMRA, ASEP, everyone is encouraging to limit travel during this pandemic, limit audition rotations, only do audition rotations if you can't get home SLOEs. CORD has opened up the O SLOE, which is where an off-service, so like a surgeon can write a SLOE for you, and it's the O SLOE. I don't know why I did quotation marks. I don't know. It's fun to do. An O SLOE, so you can get a formalized SLOE from a non-EM program. So it absolutely has changed, but we are going to be expecting that most applications, a big chunk of our applications, are only going to have one SLOE. And make sure you get one SLOE. If you don't have an opportunity for SLOE, email your advisors, email me. My email's in the chat thread. You can get up on there. If you don't have any EM rotations that you can get a SLOE on, that's an issue. But as long as you have one SLOE, that's going to be enough. CORD, IMRA, SAEM, ASEP, they're all telling programs expect the students to only have one SLOE on their application. And really, if you have 3 SLOEs on your application, that's probably not going to look good for you. That means you went against the recommendation of all of these big governing bodies of emergency medicine. So yes, this year it's going to be a lot different than every other year.
One shot.
One shot. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to SLOE.
Well, don't.
I didn't put that on the website, but I put that on one of the emails that I sent out.
Let's see how many. Let's see how many viewers we lost
35.
right there.
Well, there's a lag, so they haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
so we'll see
it's gonna tank.
We'll
Get
see
ready.
how many drop off.
Get ready. All right, are we caught up?
We're caught up on questions.
All right, guys. So we're into the 9 o'clock hour. So
we're in the 9 o'clock hour.
I think we've covered things to do to make sure you're not in the bottom third. So
yes,
be prompt. So, and I'll say this too. I'll make a quick aside here. Prompt means to me 10-15 minutes early.
Yes.
To on time.
Yes.
So if you show up an hour early, that's great, but that's kind of weird, and that's almost a red flag because I have to think about you as a resident with me, and I have to think about wellness, which is thankfully a big thing in residency right now. So if you're there an hour before your shift and you're there 2 hours after your shift, while that's maybe a sign of dedication, that's also a sign that you're not sleeping, and sustainably over 3 years, I think that's going to cause a problem. So be prompt, but don't be way too early. Don't be a martyr. Don't show up so early that you have nothing to do and no reason to be there because I'm not ready to sign out to you. Just be prompt. Be honest.
Be honest.
Don't
Just
lie to
be
coordinators.
honest.
Don't lie to coordinators.
Don't
Be
lie to
honest. Be
attendings.
honest with your attendings. Be honest with your coordinators.
You'd be surprised the silly stuff people lie about just because they don't want to look silly for not checking something on physical exam. Don't lie. Just tell me. I don't do a thorough physical exam on it. There's times when I get to my desk and I'm thinking through a patient and realize I forgot to check for something and I have to get up and go back and see the patient again. Just don't lie to me. If you didn't check it, that's fine. Just don't lie to me about it.
All right. So how about we move now to
Jordan's on Twitter now. She's following me. Hey.
a couple of the things that say.
Can I tell one more story before you do it? I got one more story that I really want to tell.
All right, one story. Go ahead.
So you've got a student that's doing pretty good on their rotation, and all of a sudden you get a message from medical education with a screenshot.
Ooh, screenshot.
From a Bumble account. Do you know what a Bumble account is?
So like Tinder?
I think so, but there's special rules to make it more equitable. I don't know. It's
equitable.
Well, I think
it's like
I don't
it's
understand.
dating-ish sort of thing,
It's a
right?
dating app
Okay,
of some sort.
all right,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Of your current medical students. And this screenshot, it's anonymous because the person was embarrassed that they were on Bumble, says that this medical student is an attending physician in your ER.
Is this a true story?
This is a true story. Yes. The medical student's rotating with us and claiming to be an attending in my ER on his Bumble app.
That's extremely impressive.
And then I have to go talk to him. I was like, hey man, so there's this. It's super awkward. I don't like awkward conversations.
That's bad.
I mean, I'm awkward most of my life, but it's an awkward conversation. So social media has often been a subject where it's like, hey, be careful with your social media. And we frequently think of, well, like Facebook posts and Instagram posts that don't just disappear. And we forget about, the thing that gets people in trouble is Snapchats. Basically, they think they send it and it disappears after they send it. If you're sending something on Snapchat that violates HIPAA, then you're not, that could tank your entire career and could get you in legal trouble.
That gets you fired.
That gets you fired. Yeah. If you're lying on your Bumble app and that gets back to me, that's a big deal. I don't even know what Bumble is, and I have to search and figure out what Bumble is so I can talk to you about how you can appropriately use Bumble. Social media is... So I have personal social media accounts. I have professional social media accounts. You're welcome to friend me on any account you find my name on. Coordinators will look at your social media accounts. You're real people. We're doing a YouTube, and there might be an adult beverage that you see in this. There might be. I don't know. If that's on your social media account, I understand. But
It's funny. There was a paper today.
Either was quite the paper.
I don't know if you guys are on Twitter. So a paper came out today. Some vascular surgeons decided to make fake accounts and monitor.
Hi gosh, you know what would be a great idea?
This is such
You
a
know
bad
what would be
idea.
a great paper?
This is what boomers do, right?
Yes.
This is a boomer thing. So they wrote this great paper, and so they snooped on all these people's accounts, and they said, hey, here's all this bad behavior that's on there. I want you to understand what we're talking about with professionalism is not that you were at the beach in a bathing suit with a beer in your hand. That's not unprofessional. That's not going to hurt you. What we're talking about is things that just treat it as things that if you were applying to a job and you had to hand your social media account to the person interviewing you, would that embarrass you? If not, then there's nothing to worry about. Like things like that are not unprofessional.
I go to the beach and take my shirt off.
That's
It's
unprofessional. That's unprofessional.
But you know what? And if my daughter takes a picture of me, sure, I'm going to put it on social media. But I don't get blackout drunk and have people drawing on my face with Sharpies and post that on social media. I don't do illegal activity and then post that on social media. I don't do illegal drugs. And if I did do illegal drugs, I would not post that on social media. I really think that there's some people that they just hide all their social media accounts. it's actually an opportunity for you. I promise you, coordinators are looking at your social media accounts. Sure, if you don't have a Facebook, because a lot of us don't have Facebook anymore, set up a Facebook account with your name that you know they can find, and put every perfect and great thing you've ever done on that. So when they pull it up, oh wow, their Facebook profile looks fantastic. You know, it's an opportunity for you to put yourself out there again. Because I guarantee you, a lot of coordinators are pulling up your social media accounts. But don't put illegal activity on there. If you're doing things that are very unwise, don't put them on there. But again, we're not saying my beach pictures are on social media, and that's okay. They're not pretty, so if you don't want to see that, don't get on my Facebook. I've missed a day or two in the gym since I've had my fourth kid.
You've been through a lot.
I've been through a lot. My wife's been through a lot, and she looks better than I do. So anyway, it's true. It's really true. So anyway, but yeah, I see social media as another opportunity to put yourself out there, because coordinators are going to look at it. So yeah, make a new Facebook page and put like really good stuff about you feeding orphan puppies. And oh goodness, I got an M&M GIF. I love it. So they like the M&M. Do not miss your chance to SLOE. And then y'all can't hate on Bumble. I didn't hate on Bumble. Did I hate on Bumble?
No.
I can't hate on Bumble because I don't even know what it is. It's a dating app or a way to find romantic relationships of whatever's severity.
All right, moving on.
All right.
No questions, please, guys. Please bring questions.
All that stuff will keep you out of the bottom third. How do you get?
All right, tell me about
How do you get in the top third?
Your best medical student.
Oh, my best medical student. I think I actually pulled her SLOE. Should I use her name or no?
No.
She was my best, but I might accidentally drop her name. Did you take your mic off?
I did. I'll be right back. We're an hour and a half in, man.
We're an hour and a half in. So we're talking about my best medical student. I've actually got her SLOE up here. So best medical student, the things that we noted about her. Nurses came and told me about how great she was. She would get patients blankets. She would get patients ice water. She would help patients to the bathroom. She would do tests of ambulation. And I only caught her doing this once or twice, but I was told about this by multiple nurses. So she was not calling attention to herself. She was very humble about it. Everyone had positive things to say about her. She made the team run better. Honestly, her medical knowledge was at a pretty high level, but anytime that I found an opportunity for learning for her, the next shift when we talked about it, you could tell she'd read about it, and developed her knowledge further on that topic where she had gaps. So the things that set her apart, I should not know what Bumble is. I agree, Savannah. I've been married for 13 years. Is set her apart is one, she worked hard, always early, always on time, doing the little things to help out patients, doing the little things to help out nursing, doing the little things to help out me. Obviously the honesty, integrity was there, and the work ethic was there. The things that I have listed to get you into that top third and eventually that top 10%. The top 10% again is tough. We are really restrictive on who we put in the top 10%. If you get a top 10% SLOE from us, that's a big deal, because other programs will see that we truly only put about 10% of our students there. Show the ability to learn and show the ability to grow by taking feedback. If we talk about something on the first day and you don't know it, and you go and read about it and we talk about it again later on, and you've learned about that and you know about it now, and you've shown that you can take feedback and develop from it, honestly, I think that looks better on your SLOE than if you just knew everything from the get-go. If you can take feedback and learn, if you're coachable, that's huge, and honestly, that will put you in the top third. That's another reason why I say don't fake it till you make it, face it till you make it. If you don't know something, tell me that you don't know it, and I will teach you. And then if you've shown me that you've learned from that, that will put you in your top third much better than if you try to fake it till you make it and you lie to me, and that will put you in the bottom third. Go ahead and finish that off for me. I'm done with it. It's my spicy sweet tea. Spicy sweet tea, does that sound good? That's what I'm drinking, spicy sweet tea. Own your patients. My top third medical students are students who really act like interns. This is your sub-internship. Take ownership of your patient. If you sign out a patient to me and you tell me your assessment and plan, and then I have the patient admitted and they drop off the board and you never notice, there's a coffee cup there if you want it, and you never notice, that's concerning to me. That means you saw them, you got the workup started, and then you forgot about that patient. If you see a patient with me, keep an eye on their labs, follow up their lab results. If their troponin comes back at 12, let me know right away. If everything comes back and it's normal, let me know. Hey, Dr. Haywood, our chest pain patient that we saw, the troponin is back and it's normal. The other labs are back, they're normal. I looked at the EKG. I don't see anything concerning for ACS, but if you want to look at it with me, you can. The chest X-ray looks good too. They're a low-risk heart score, so I think we can just do a second troponin and send them home. Let me know you're following up, owning your patients. Have actual treatment plans. Third-year medical students are typically, they're working on learning history, physical exam skills. Our fourth-year students are learning to turn those history and physical exam skills into differential diagnoses, and the next step is turning those differentials into how am I going to treat those differentials and how am I going to disposition those differentials. You had a clever mnemonic that kind of talked about those levels, didn't you?
Oh man!
Yeah, you're clever mnemonic.
Wow, right? You throwing it right back to me.
Yeah, I'm throwing it right back to you. So
are we talking about rhyme?
Yeah, let's talk about rhyme.
Let's talk about rhyme. Okay, so what rhyme is.
Put your mic back on.
It's on. It's on, buddy. So the R stands for reporter. So I expect any third-year medical student to be a reporter. So you go into a patient's room, you get a history and physical, you come back out, and you report that information to me. You're a reporter. I think that's kind of the very baseline of what you should be able to accomplish. As you're moving into an I, then you're an interpreter. So you come out of a room, you give me a history and physical, and in addition to that, you say, so based on the fact that they have a productive cough, subjective fever and chills, and pleuritic chest pain, I think they probably have pneumonia. So you're synthesizing the data that you're reporting to me, and you're building a differential diagnosis off of that. I think that's where most of you guys should be as fourth years. So as you're coming to us, you should at least be able to build a broad differential based off of the information you gather from the patient. It doesn't have to be right, but you should be able to put that together in an intelligent way and tell me at least some type of pattern that you're thinking that explains what you're gathering from the patient, the information you're gathering. I think where you guys can set yourself apart is if you move into that M, which is a manager. The manager kind of has multiple phases to it, but a manager, to me, means that you're telling me you think the patient has pneumonia, and now you're getting into disposition. So, okay, so they're pneumonia, but they're 30, so I'm going to start community-acquired coverage with antibiotics. We'll check some labs. I think they're ultimately going to be able to go home and follow up with their primary care physician. They have pneumonia and they're 75 with multiple comorbidities. Based on their CURB 65, they're high risk for discharge. I think they need to be admitted to the hospital. We're going to start coverage for community-acquired pneumonia, and I plan to admit them. And then the next phase of manager is when you have 2 or 3 patients with me, you're saying, hey, I saw this guy with an ankle with an ankle sprain. I think he doesn't need an X-ray based on the Ottawa ankle score, but he really wants one, so we're going to get an X-ray, but I think we can discharge him with an ACE bandage, ice elevation. This other patient I saw has pneumonia. I think they need to come in. So you're kind of starting to manage flow of the department. Now that is like stellar. Like you're really setting yourself apart if you're in that phase of a manager. And then the E stands for expert or educator. None of you guys are going to be there. That's what we want to be, hopefully, as at least an educator, maybe not an expert, but we're not there. So rhyme. So reporter is absolute baseline. I is an interpreter, building broad differentials. M is for manager. So if you guys can move from I to M during your away rotation, I think you're going to set yourself apart clinically.
I think we've covered most everything, and our viewers are starting to drop a little bit, which tells me we've been speaking too long. I just threw my email address into the comments again as we talk. If you have questions, further questions, please send them to me.
So let's say it's 9:24. We're gonna go off air at 9:30.
9:30. So you got 6 minutes to wrap it up.
6 minutes. Hit us with all your questions.
Yes.
And we'll go ahead and kind of plug what we hope to do in the future.
Yes.
So hopefully every month we're going to do this with you guys, because we can appreciate that this is a weird year. It's been a really shitty year for everybody.
Yes.
And it's
Watch your profanity.
It's tough. So you're only going to get one SLOE, one away rotation. You guys are going to have to battle almost certainly online interviews, which is new for us, just like it's new for you. So we're going to research that, and hopefully on our next show, which will be what, August?
August. You want to set a date for it?
We'll announce the date.
We're gonna
probably
announce it on Bumble.
Follow us on Bumble.
We're not on Bumble. We're not on Bumble. Hey, my wife is watching. I'm not on Bumble, sweetie. I don't know what Bumble is.
But we'll post the date soon. But hopefully that whole talk is going to be on how to navigate online interviews, because that's going to be weird for everybody. And an online interview, for me, like sitting next to Steve, I can kind of get a feel for Steve. I don't like him. He puts off bad vibes. But through a camera...
Move out.
Through a camera, a lot of you guys probably like Steve, right?
Yeah.
So it's weird. So some of that is lost when you have an online interview. So we're going to talk to you about how to navigate that, things to do, things not to do. We're going to gather a lot of information from a lot of people way smarter than us in the next few weeks to do that. After that point, we want this to be absolutely driven by you guys. So we love to teach. You guys are limited this year on your chances to learn clinically in an away situation. So we are absolutely happy to make this an online away and go through cases with you guys. We'll put imaging up. We'll run through differential diagnoses. We'll try to hit you with some clinical pearls, but we want you to tell us what you want to talk about. Do you want to talk about trauma? Do you want to talk about pneumonia? Do you want to talk about old people falling down? Whatever you want to talk about, we will build a show for you guys, let you steer it with questions and comments, and do our best to help you through what's going to be kind of an unfortunately isolated away season.
Yeah. So August, September, we'll probably start talking about the application process, ERAS, navigating ERAS, setting yourself up for success, getting yourself exposure to the programs you really want to go to. We're going to work on how we're going to do the online interviews. We're going to talk to, EM's a very small community, so we'll talk to everybody that we can talk to about how different programs are going to do online interviews and try to help you prepare for those. And then, eventually just whatever y'all want us to talk about, we'll sit around and talk about. Our viewership actually picked back up. Expectation of the MS3 level, Daniel asked. MS3 level... man, you're there to learn, and I've told the students, especially if you're going into emergency medicine and you're doing the MS3 rotation with me, that is really the time to face it until you make it, because I'm writing your letter off your 4th year rotation. So come into my department eager to learn. My expectations are that you can do a good history and a good physical exam, and then reporter, I expect you to be a good reporter as a 3rd year medical student, and then be a sponge. When you don't know something, tell me you don't know it so that I can teach you that. And then when you come in as your 4th year rotation, if you've done that during your 3rd year rotation, then I expect you to have progressed into that interpreter, and that was the interpreter, manager, which is going to set you apart as a 4th year. So really as a 3rd year, it varies at every school. I am very fortunate in that my 3rd year rotation here is pass-fail. It's a 3-week rotation that is pass-fail. We may add an honors to the rotation, but you don't have to worry about taking a silly test, and I want you there to learn. If you're not motivated and you're like, oh, this is pass-fail, I'm going to do the bare minimum, and then you show up as a 4th year, that's going to stick in my mind, and honestly, you're not going to develop in the way you need to. So just show up eager to learn, ask the right questions, let me know when you don't know something as a 3rd year, and then as a 4th year, you can shine. Would you agree? Okay, cool. Oh, we got another question. Jocelyn Miller. So it wasn't Jordan that followed me on Taylor. It was Jocelyn Miller that followed me on Twitter. Jordan, you need to follow me on Twitter as well. How do you think we should tailor our ERAS to benefit us when applying for your program or others? Should research mission statements and tailor our application towards that? Should we research mission statements? I like to see a trend in an application, but I like it to be genuine. Again, we talk about. I have an entire curriculum. Keep moving the track off with your foot. No worries. On emotional intelligence that I do with my medical students that we've lectured on nationally. The thing about emotional intelligence, you can use your emotional expression to your benefit, but if you fake it, people know, and it actually harms you. So yes, you should guide your application to who you are as a person. If don't be ashamed. I had a student actually. Okay, Jordan follows me too. I had a student who was so ashamed that she had a background in the arts and in theater, and she was like, "I can't believe I wasted so much time with this." And I was talking to her. I was like, "Dude, we're sitting in the basement with a bunch of. I spent a lot of money on this equipment. It still looks like crap. I would love somebody."
You'd never believe it.
No, we spent a lot of money on this little show right here. We actually have a better camera that's supposed to get in tomorrow, so next month's show will look better. I was like, I would love somebody to work with me that has has a background in theater, that can apply that towards medical education, that can apply that towards. So really, whoever you are, be true to that. Don't feel like you have to create this false persona, because if we feel like it's a false persona that you have created, it is going to hurt you. I like to see. We'll talk about this more when we talk about ERAS in the following months. But I like to see unique things about you. One thing we're going to talk about, you can put. Do you know what's on all my profiles that I enjoy? Hiking. Do you know what is on every medical student's application?
Hiking, fishing, outdoor activities, sports,
Yes.
sports ball.
Sports ball.
So
I love sports ball.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Where am I going
So
with this?
if you like hiking, tell me that you like hiking and you hike to Mount LeConte, which I've been to. If you've been to, that's awesome. And what you loved about it. So something that when I read your personal statement or your extracurriculars out of 150 other extracurriculars, that there's something we can talk about, because everybody, I promise you, everybody else really likes hiking. So if you make it something specific to that activity, then we have something to talk about.
Yes.
We engage in conversation.
Literally every application has hiking on it. If you're going to put hiking and nothing else, put something unique on there.
I was just in Florida and people said hiking. There's no hiking in the state of Florida. It's called a walk. Like, it's the biggest hill in Florida is, like up and down like 10 feet. It's,
Right.
There's,
And is it
there's
Disney
no,
World over to like
yeah,
the entrance?
There's no hiking. So don't just say hiking. Say something unique about yourself and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, and with everything, like if you are passionate about cooking, don't put cooking on your application. I had a student that put macaroons. So
Yeah.
there's two different ways to say
Not with
it.
cheese.
There's two different ways
Yeah,
to
the
say it.
dessert.
They're two very different cookies. There's like macarons and macaroons. And apparently they're two different. So anyway, she put that on there, and I was looking at the applications the night before. My wife informed me that there's two different cookies, and so we had this conversation about this very specific.
His wife is
cookie.
confirming off camera right now.
Yes. So put something specific. If you like to cook, tell me what your signature dish is, and put that in your application. Put something unique, or I can have a conversation with you about it. But make it true to yourself. Don't try to lie about who you are. You all have a very unique personality, and a diversity of personalities and backgrounds is going to make my residency program great. So I'm not looking for anyone with any particular cookie cutter ERAS application. I'm looking for unique applications that tell me you're a unique human being, that you're going to add something to my residency that it is currently missing. Does that make sense? Would you agree? We will talk about applications in the coming month. ERAS, what we want to read about on ERAS.
Anything
our
else?
viewership is dropping. We're down to 25. I think we peaked at like 33, 35.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we peaked
So
at.
tell your friends if you liked us. Next time, again, the hats, it stands.
The hats. If we get
Have
to 50,
50.
we're
Have
wearing
50.
hats. We're wearing hats. We'll post. I say what, I'm going to keep the main page of Akron EM for this show right now. So when we set the next show, we'll have a countdown to that next show. I'll get a fancy infographic. So check out Akron EM. Follow Akron EM on Twitter. And then we'll
follow us on
updates.
Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter. Call Harrell is actually Caleb. And Haywood Vince, surprisingly, is me. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Follow the program on Twitter. Savannah wants to put the hats on anyway. Daniel thanked us for putting stuff together. No, Savannah. 50.
Yeah, you earn it.
50.
50.
Earn
That's
it.
the number.
Earn it, yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us. This is our maiden voyage with this. If you keep tuning in, just know you're helping us, because that means Steve gets to buy really expensive, fancy video equipment.
I have $1,000 worth of equipment that's arriving tomorrow morning.
It's really, really important that you
Yes.
tune in so we can tell his wife that we have hundreds of viewers, and it's
Yes.
not because
She's
we
not
want to
happy with me
because
right now.
we want to play with expensive things, because we
Yes.
absolutely need it, because the demand is so high.
Yes.
And if we sucked, please tell us why we sucked. The comments are still open.
And honestly, though,
and we'll
want
do our
feedback.
best.
We
Yeah,
will face it till we make it.
that's right.
We'll face it till we make
This
it.
is for you guys. We're trying to help you navigate a tough year, and we hope you are interested in our program. But even if you're not and have no intention of coming here, we want you guys to succeed wherever you're going to go, because EM is a tight-knit community. You're going to be our colleagues in a few short years, and we want you guys to be successful.
If
Fair enough.
somebody has the background in theater, and like I've just got a lot of money invested in these lights, and they still look awful. There's like a glare on my head, so yeah, let us know. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Echo everything that Caleb says, and AkronEM.com, AkronEM on Twitter. You'll know about our next show.
See you
To
next
everyone
time.
that thanked us, please never change. Matthew. It's never change. Let's run the comments one more time. Hats, anyone second that? Hats, please. No hats. Sorry, you got to earn it. Like the format, great. Thank you. Nicholas, Abe, Caitlin, everyone that thanked us, thank y'all too. We'll see you next month. In stream.
In stream.
It's in.